y'all, it's Chris with Rockin Farm, and y'all know I always talk about transparency and showing y'all the good, the bad, and the ugly, but not even I can believe what I'm about to show you. So this is actually going to be a very interesting video because y'all are about to see something for the first time, and I am seeing it for the first time as well. During the summer, when it was very hot and we were experiencing a ton of drought, and I was super busy with pigs and pigs that were escape artists and breeding and farrowing and the chickens and hatching eggs and incubating eggs and trying to grow all of our programs, y'all, I just gave up on the garden. Seemed like no matter how much I watered, everything still looked dry and wilty. It was just a hot, nasty summer. But I also never got around to doing the summer rip out that a lot of people do, where they plant brand new crops to grow during those hot months so that they'll really produce come fall. So what I have over here is a garden that, maybe a month and a half ago, 5 weeks or so, my son went in there and he came back in with a few small peppers. But I have not been in here in probably 3 or 4 months. My wife has not been in here for probably 2 or 3 months. We were just unbelievably busy and we gave up on the garden. And I'm about to go into the garden for the first time. When I say gave up on the garden, y'all, I mean, even as I drive past it to go do the pigs or the chickens, I don't even like side glance to look and see what's going on. I have not watered this garden in, 3 months, but we got a couple of pretty good rainstorms about a month ago. Y'all, we're all seeing this garden for the first time. Let's go have a look. So these over here are the tomatillos, and they are obviously shot. The only green that I see in there is weeds. This bed was completely ripped out, and this bed was completely ripped out. This bed also had a couple of tomatillos in it, which are shot. But as we look along the fence line, we've got some gourds that are grown pretty darn well, all on their own with no water. So just for giggles, we planted some loofahs, and apparently loofah gourds do okay when they're completely and totally ignored. We've even got the ones that are already dried up here. So we're definitely going to have a couple of loofahs and lots of seeds to plant again next year, which is kind of nice. So I guess we will keep in mind that if we ever have a need for loofahs, they do just fine with being completely ignored through a drought. This was some sort of a tomato, and obviously it's completely shot. It did not survive no water and 105-degree temperatures. But it looks like this one over here did okay. It survived, and I even see a little bit of fruit on it. So I think maybe it's time to start getting this one some water again. So the poblanos over here are dry and wilty and unhappy. But we do have a lot of little teeny tiny poblanos on it. What we do with these little tiny ones, you can see what I mean by tiny. I mean, that's the size of my hand. We throw them in the dehydrator and crush them into a poblano powder. So it looks like I need to get my hind parts out here and harvest a whole bunch of poblanos and throw them in the dehydrator. Jalapenos, goodness. So if I had bothered to get out here a month ago, we could have harvested lots and lots and lots of green jalapenos. But you know what? I'm not unhappy about the fact that they've all turned red. Because if I can get out here and harvest all of these red jalapenos, these are the jalapenos that we like to use for making a jalapeno jelly, because it turns the jalapeno jelly red, which is a very pretty color, and it makes it really easy to sell. Okay, I'm happy to see that the asparagus still seems to be doing okay. This is the time of year when these ferns would start dying back anyhow. So the fact that I have ferns dying back here is not a bad thing. I still see lots of green in there, which means I didn't kill my asparagus off. Cubanelle peppers. Cubanelle peppers are still doing really good. I mean, we've got lots of peppers growing on these. Everything is wilty, so when I get done filming here, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and kick the water on and see if I can't get some of this garden to come back for me for a last little run here through October and into November. Looks like the cherry tomatoes are also survivors. So I think these are the Sweet 100. I don't remember what they are. They're some sort of a little red cherry tomato. But they survived. And then I can also see some yellow pears down there. So the yellow pears survived. And it looks like that's what's all along this fence line is yellow pears and cherry tomatoes. So note to self, if you want a garden that you can completely ignore, go with some different varieties of cherry tomatoes and peppers. And I guess they can tolerate 3 months of no water and 105 degrees and complete and total ignoring on the part of the very bad Central Texas gardener. Well, y'all, there you have it. For a period of time, my gardening videos were very, very popular, and then they totally slumped off. But I still have a lot of people that go back and search like fall gardening in Central Texas. And we did not even remotely think about planting a fall garden this year. Like I said, we're so busy with animals, we have let the garden go to the wayside. You know, plus another thing is, I'm going to be completely honest, if you don't feed an animal complains. Every time you go into the barn, every time you go out to the pasture, they're all going to run up. They're going to be hooting and hollering and squawking at you. And if a tomato isn't getting the nutrients it needs, or a pepper isn't getting the water that it needs, it doesn't say anything to you. No excuse, but at the same time, pretty good excuse, because you know what? There is only one of me. There is only one of my wife. I've explained to y'all in the past that she probably works anywhere from 60 hours a week on a very short week to upwards of 90 hours a week on a very busy, hectic week. So her job provides the funding for us to be able to do what we do here on the homestead, which is building the infrastructure and getting everything in place so that hopefully the homestead pays for itself and then also brings in some additional income, and therefore she no longer has to work. So basically my wife is working her tail end off to pay for the infrastructure for our farm because it's very expensive. I also work a full-time job off farm, and now that we are post-pandemic, we have gone back into the office several days a week. I'm not giving up on the garden. I do plan on posting more garden videos in the future. But this is going to be kind of an unusual garden because it's the, hey, look how I messed this up garden video. And as you can see, we had some things that did very well through the drought and through the nasty Texas heat and survived and made it. So I'm going to make sure I jot all those down as survivor plants that maybe I can ignore in the future if I get myself in a bad position again. If you have any specific questions about Central Texas gardens, you can go ahead and ask me, but I don't know anybody who would take advice from me after seeing this. Reach out to me via email at rockin8farm@gmail.com. Go check out the website, rockin8farm.com. And as always, I want every one of you to be happy and live healthy.